1 second.
We should be good now.
Can people hear?
Yeah. We're good.
Okay. Hi,
So,
everybody. Again.
Let's try again. Welcome, everyone, to an impromptu live stream. We wanted to come on live without really planning this thing and talk about Woody's 100th cave dive and basically the road here. Yeah. Just talk to us, man. Wow. How was the weekend?
Well, the weekend was incredible. So, July of 2019, I got cave certified with Brian Kikuk in the Crystal Caves of the Bahamas, in Abacos, Bahamas.
Oh, yeah.
So, the road to 100 cave dives was about 3 years. Now, it had been building up, and I had been planning on doing the 100th dive at various different places. But I got to do it in what I would say, for me, is the most monstrous, biggest, even the word scariest cave by far that I've ever seen. So I did dive number 98 in Beaufort Springs, which is a beautiful cavern, and there's tons of free divers because they can free dive down to about 110 feet and still look straight up into the light zone. But then as you go back further, once you pass about 140 feet, it turns into a cave zone. So we did that cave, just a little bit back in that cave.
Yeah.
So that was cave dive number 98. I think we got to 150, 155, about an hour and a half dive, beautiful dive. Came back up, and then in the same park there, which is near Tampa, Florida, you can drive to the other side of the park. I mean, the other side of the park's about 10 miles away, which is Eagle's Nest.
That's right.
So on that same day, which was Friday, I did cave dive number 99 in Eagle's Nest to almost 300 feet underwater. We brought, we each had 4 tanks on us. I won't go through all the gas needs, but at 300
plus
feet.
Plus the rebreather, yeah.
Yeah, plus the rebreather. And the Seacraft scooter. It was me, it was Brian Boucher, it was Doug Ebersol,
and Benjamin, right?
Benjamin Woodall, let's see,
there were a couple other people there.
Yeah,
Ken Joyce, I think, was there.
Yeah, he was there filming. Yep. And anyway, we and one of Doug's students, but he didn't go. He didn't go on that dive because he's still a student. So amazing dive, a solid hour of Deco on that dive, and we scooted back to one section of Eagle's Nest. I would say we went maybe 1,000 feet from the entrance. You go down, literally through like chimney, a chimney, just a straight down chimney. You're pretty deep at that point, like almost 130 feet.
Yeah.
You keep dropping fast, and at about 200 feet, you go through a restriction.
Whoop. It's like
and then on the other side of the restriction, it keeps going down, but it opens up massively.
Yeah.
I had my little green Orca Torch laser. It would not fire to the other side. I could not see it hit the wall.
Yeah.
It's really dark, Eagle's Nest, and it's somewhat
so big.
Cloudy.
Yeah.
And the line can be really tricky. You got to, at one point, Brian kind of lost it for a second. I re-showed it because it went right against the wall, but at 280 or 90 feet, man, you are like looking at the line the whole time. After about 1,000, 1,100 feet back, we turned around. I would say the total dive time, not including Deco, was maybe up and back around 30 minutes. And then we had a Deco all the way up, like 100 feet, you're making stops, 90 feet, 80 feet. All of those had Deco stops.
Yeah.
And then the long final Deco stop, which was about 55 minutes of Decoing at 20 feet. That was dive number 99. So we knew the next day was pretty exciting for me because 100 safe cave dives enables you to apply through the NSS CDS for what's known as the Abe Davis Award.
That's right.
Which means you have completed 100 safe cave dives, and another instructor that's an NSS CDS member has to sign your application. Well, who would I get to sign it? My cave instructor, Brian Kikuk. I emailed it to him. He was super happy that I asked him to sign, and he signed it right away.
Yeah.
Submitted it right away, and right away I got a response from the NSSCDS saying, huge congrats. You know, we're processing it right away. That was the next day. We did one single dive in Eagle's Nest. This time we went both directions. So we went down and went left back to that same place. Then we went and explored another 1,200, 1,400 feet to the right, if you will, to another gorgeous room. And by the way, it keeps going. We could have got another 2,000 feet, but we would need way more gas.
Yeah.
And my 100th dive was about 145 minutes, Eagle's Nest.
2.5 hours.
To do that in Eagle's Nest is something really special.
Absolutely.
So that was my weekend. And yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I took my weekend was I took my daughter to check out Vanderbilt. She's thinking about Vanderbilt in Nashville. So I missed the dive, but this was important too, and I wanted to do that. But thank you everyone for the congratulations, and if you have any questions, please ask. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, feel free to ask. I was on my Sidewinder. You're welcome to ask about the gas mix because, again, we made it down to almost 300 feet underwater. And you all know, obviously, on air, I would be severely narked, like out of your mind, unable to concentrate narked. So I was diving a 10-50 mix. That means 10% oxygen, 50% helium. I had 2 steel 85s of that, plus another 80 cubic foot of 50%, plus another 40 cubic foot that we put at 20 feet of pure oxygen. We each on the team had that much gas.
Yeah,
and
it was a lot.
And planned to go to that depth and that distance.
The questions are coming in. If you had any pictures, I thought you shared some pictures on, well, we share them on Facebook for sure. So if you're on Facebook, check out the Dive Talk group. But I'm not sure if we share them on YouTube as well. Maya, thank you so much for the super chat. Somebody asked me how many cave dives I have so far. It's 66. So that's how many I have. Let's see. Maya saying, I got in a fight with someone in the comments where I was defending Gus against someone who thought he shouldn't make dive content. He's only dived since 2018. Make me wonder, how did Gus get so knowledgeable so fast? I mean, I just by training, of course, but you know, I mentioned something earlier today because someone posted a video about doing back kicks, and the first comment was something like, "Well, you should bend your ankles and your hands shouldn't move," and like they were tearing him apart. And I'm like, this is one of the reasons why a lot of divers don't want to share their knowledge on YouTube, because people just attack them, right?
Yeah.
The benefit that we have is that we flat out say we're not the best divers in the world. This is the way we do it. Doesn't mean it's the best way to do it or the right way to do it, but this is how we do it.
I don't really like even discussing like the best diver in the world, or we're not the best diver. We are qualified, trained cave divers that went through rigorous training and had to prove ourselves to be able to do what we do. It's not a competition.
But thank you, Maya, for defending me, by the way. I forgot to.
But he went through a lot of training. I'm proud to say I was Gus's instructor for a lot of that way up. Yes. But Gus never stopped, man. He worked really, really hard and went after it. Yes, I am now running a 40-70, John, gradient factor. Recently, Simon Mitchell, who we all kind of follow as the, if you will, the Deco god, if you will. So he's changed to 50-70. That means you're going to have less deep stops. Mm-hmm. He's sort of starting to think, I don't want to have to stop as much deep.
Yeah, we said we were going to change, but we haven't changed. None of us.
I'm going to change. Doug has. I'm going to change it. So that means I wouldn't have made as many deep stops because his thought there is that when you stop deep, like at 100 feet, you're still on-gassing some of the fast tissues, so those are going to take longer to off-gas. Yep. Also, I paid what's called a helium penalty. When you're diving with 50% helium, your Deco obligation is going to go way up as well. And I learned something. I used to say that on the shear waters, when you're setting your closed circuit gases, that really only affected the dive planning mode. Yeah. Because the computer knows what your PO2 is.
Right.
But it doesn't.
Really?
When you have a trimix gas and you have helium, that's when it comes into play. If you just are diving 21%, honestly, that's not changing that Bowman model at all. But when you tell that shearwater
that you have trimix,
I have helium, it's going to build in it changes the Bowman Deco model to say,
math.
oh, I don't care what your PO2 is, you're going to have a helium penalty. Does that make sense? So in other words, if somebody was at 300 feet with me and they told their shearwater that they were on 100% air and we kept the same PO2 the whole dive, I would end up with a longer deco obligation because my shearwater knows I'm on helium. Yep. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I learned. I didn't realize it did that.
All right, a few more questions. Did you get any footage? Yes, there was some video and it was shared on Facebook as well. I don't know if we're going to share it on YouTube because somebody else recorded it, but we'll see. Let's see.
It's like a congratulatory little video that Ken made.
Is it the number of cave dives on CCR or OC and CCR?
Mine are all on CCR.
Except for one, Shangri-La.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. There's one, so 99 of the 100 are on, 101 actually.
Yeah, so you have 100 on CCR.
101 are on CCR.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody else asked, how many caves, how many different caves did you dive to hit 100?
It'd take me a minute.
10 and 20,
I would say 10-ish.
Yeah, between 10 and 20, yeah. Probably. Because, the caves in the Bahamas and the ones in Florida.
And all the Florida caves.
Yep. Somebody else asks, will you guys ever dive down to the Britannic? Absolutely. It's like my bucket list for Rex.
Now, what's really funny is I actually have 102 cave dives because a long time ago, before I was cave certified, I went on one of those little mini cave tours in the cenotes in Mexico where they just take you in a little circle. Yeah. I did not count that. I wasn't,
that wasn't part of, wasn't after the training.
Any recreational diver can do those. It's literally a small little loop tour they take you
The
on.
Second question is your next goal 200 dives?
Yeah.
That's your next goal? Okay.
That's my personal next. And
that's cool.
And I think the next, though, official NSSCDS award is at 500?
500, that's right. What's your favorite dive experience out of those 100 dives?
Listen, I do favorites like this. I try to live in the moment. And I always say it's the dive I'm on and I want to be also excited about the next dive I'm going to do, right? So I don't like to pick a favorite because what it does is it sort of can hurt people's feelings and then it minimizes how special each one of those were. But in terms of my favorite, in terms of just pure marveling at the beauty of the cave, it would be the Crystal Caves in the Bahamas in terms of just beauty.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's just my favorite overall dive.
Yeah. Ashley, thank you for your super chat. Somebody asked how many cave dives I have. I mentioned already 66, but then somebody says how many dives did you have when you started cave diving? I would say around 300 dives or something like that.
I was...
Yeah, I don't remember, but I think I had
probably
around 300.
in the 6,500 dive range.
Yeah.
Something like that, or something like that.
Let's see.
Thank you, Ashley.
For the 100 safe dives, what constitutes or qualifies a dive as safe that you are alive, I guess?
I mean, I didn't have any, you came out, you're safe.
Yeah, there were no incidents.
No incidences.
Correct.
But this is a good question from Ashley. Was this dive more physically rigorous versus other caves you've dived, or was it equivalent to other dives you've done? That's a really good question. So in Florida, in High Springs area, the entrances into the caves have very high flow. Brutal at times. Really physically difficult. I mean, seriously, like everything you got to get into the cave. Eagle's Nest does not have very much flow, but it is very physical because of the massive amount of gas that you're carrying in, especially being that the tube that you enter in at some points can only fit one person. So you actually kind of do have to get a little bit more vertical than you otherwise would.
Yeah.
And then you're taking off that 50% gas at 70 feet. You're taking it off with all these other gases on you, clipping that off on the line on the way down, and you can't see anything because you're in a tight tube. Forget about not silting. It's in that tube. It's going to silt it. So from that standpoint, it felt like, whoa, there's a lot going on, but then it's super chill. I did also have my DPV. I should mention that on all of the, both the Eagle Nest and Beaufort Springs dives, we did it with our DPVs. No, not Beaufort Springs, just the Eagle's Nest dives.
Yep. How long have you been diving for?
I think 46 years now.
Yep. Have you ever used underwater IR night vision goggles?
No.
No, we use lights.
I have at night used those infrared sort of goggles that will it makes the reef, you can see all the bioluminescence glows.
Oh,
you can
cool.
buy those at most dive shops. It's pretty neat. Like you shine your light on the reef and it all glows and stuff.
Do you guys get to dive with a new deep prototype from Mike, or is he still even working on it? No comment. It's a prototype. We can talk about it. It's a prototype.
Okay.
It's a secret. Let's see.
I was about to say something.
No, don't.
Okay.
Just.
All right.
We don't know what you're talking about.
What was that? What's that one? What do you comment on navigation in dry caving versus cave diving? My understanding is dry caves don't use a line. So, yep, that's true. How to navigate? Why is a line necessary? Okay. Well, dry caves, I've never seen a line in the dry caves. I've always gone with experienced dry cavers, and they know the way. But think about it. It's not really a big deal. You have all the time in the world if you get lost because it's dry and there's air. In fact, you can feel the breeze continuing through the caves that I've done. Well, you don't have all the time in the world in a wet cave. If you get lost, time is of the essence because you're underwater. So you have a limitation of your rebreather. How long is the scrubber going to last? Your bailout gas, etc. That's why.
Couple of good questions. One of them was, do you ever feel claustrophobic inside the caves? I haven't felt claustrophobic, but I feel frustrated. Like when we did the tunnel to Woody's room at Peacock, it was like I was either hitting the ceiling or hitting the bottoms, and I couldn't move. It's like you're sandwiched between rock, and it's like you're just frustrated, but not really claustrophobic.
That's a matter of whether or not you get claustrophobia. For me, the tightest I've ever done is Shangri-La. We've talked a bunch about that. I can't imagine being any more squished because I couldn't move my head. And I didn't feel claustrophobic. I don't get that feeling. But anybody that remotely has any claustrophobia would definitely get it in that cave.
Never. The beauty about cave diving, though, is that you get to pick the caves. Like, you're not going to feel claustrophobic at Eagle's Nest because you can even see the walls. Like, it's that big. So
maybe the tunnel they're talking about. I mean, and the silt out in it. Maybe some people would probably get it.
But once you make it to the ballroom, it's
wide open, huge.
Yeah, amphitheater type of thing.
And the restriction is not super tight. I know what Gus likes and doesn't like. He would literally continue moving on his DPV through this restriction. Not fast. We slowed down to about a 1.
Like the keyhole at Ginny type of thing?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Somebody else asked if we got the international snacks they sent us. Yes, we actually got them. And for those of you who want to send us snacks and stuff, first of all, thank you for doing that. Our address is on the channel. If you go to the About tab within our channel, you'll see our address there, our P.O. Box. You can send whatever you want. Somebody sent us a massive box from Amazon of snacks, which I ate 99% of them.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't remember. I think I may have had nothing.
You try one little bag, I think. But the thing with the international snacks, which I thought it was super cool, is that they're all expired. Like some of them expire in like 2018. So I'm like, I want to try them, but I don't know if this, goat flavored Lay's expire in 2018 are a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think that is.
All right. Let's see. What's the most technically challenging cave dive that you guys have ever done? I would say maybe Twin Caves when we went to 4200. Was that the most challenging? Or Fanghorn, maybe?
I would have to say Fanghorn in terms of how careful you have to be.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back to Shangri-La in terms of just... It's super technical, man. You can't even move at times.
Yep. Thank you for the super chat. Why don't divers carry those tiny extra air tanks? I never heard them mentioned here before. We actually did a video about them. on how useful those were. We were down to 100 feet and then bail out to a spare air, so a small tank, and within 20 feet, I drowned. So they're useless.
That's really why. They're kind of useless, and I think they kind of could give you a false sense of security because they offer you very little protection.
Yeah. Shout out to Yukon Sean Holland.
Thank you, Patrick.
Shaner, thank
hello.
you for the super chat.
Good to see you, Patrick.
Welcome. Let's see. Another question. Off-topic question. My partner was a commercial diver for 8 years. He just gifted me a ticket to get scuba certified. I'm excited but overwhelmed. He thrown a lot of info at me about commercial diving. Don't worry about commercial diving because you're going to get certified as a recreational diver. And they are not comparable. So go and enjoy. You're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. Let's see. Will you dive in Antarctica? Yeah, right now. I would go right now and dive right now.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I recently just bought a dry suit,
Yes.
a full garment heater from head to toe. I'm going to be doing Roaring River, and it's pretty cold, so yes.
If we ever end up in Antarctica, we got to do the polar plunge challenge, though.
It's not going to be a challenge because you're going to have no problem, and I'm going to plunge. But what about coming back out after I'm dead?
Man. I got bioprene. That thing is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Should we dive in Greece? Absolutely. We'll dive in Greece. Have either one of you been with a stingray or swum with a stingray? Yeah.
Many, many times.
Definitely.
Is it okay to dive with contacts? It is.
Yes.
Some people, though, do prefer the prescription mask. Just remember, if you flood your mask, you definitely got to shut your eyes, or the contacts are going to wash out of your eyes.
Yep. Is being narc recreational, or is the question whether you feel narc if you're diving recreational depths? Yes. If you dive past 100 feet or 30 meters, more than likely you will feel some effect of narcosis in your blood. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. What else? Question for Woody that I'm curious about. What does it take to dive at the aquariums? Can you just be an open water diver?
Yep, you can.
Absolutely.
But it takes applying to the program, whether or not they're admitting new divers, and going through their training. And it's pretty good training. There's a swim test. And I would say it's not a mellow swim test. Like, it's pretty tiring.
Yeah.
Then you also do a scuba test, and they're going.
But that's to become a volunteer. I think if you just want to dive it, you can just do the immersion program, right?
If you want to just dive it, there's what's called the dive immersion program.
Right.
Call it about $300. You'll be in the Ocean Voyager for a little bit more than 30 minutes, and it's an absolutely amazing experience.
And yes, open water.
Open water's fine.
It's fine.
You're not going to bring any of your gear at all, except for your mask and your computer. They'll take care of everything else.
Let's see.
They just asked me, by the way, to become a employee of the dive immersion program.
Yeah.
They literally wanted me to, like.
Yeah, they send that. It's like, you want to be a dive master or whatever.
Yesterday, that the person in it said, I mean, I don't have time, but they came up to me. I'm like, I wish I had the ability to do that.
How much experience do you recommend someone has before considering cave diving? I don't know if it's about the experience. I think it's also about the skills and about your personality. Like, if you're really bad at paying attention to detail, for example, cave diving is probably not for you. You know, there are some things that are just personality traits and your ability as a diver that will dictate whether you're going to be a certified cave diver and whether you're going to be good at it, meaning you're going to be safe. So yeah, there's people out there that I've noticed, especially like open water instructors that rack up like 10,000 dives, and then you see them diving in the water and you're like, ooh, I wouldn't take this guy on a cave, not even close, because they didn't have to worry about perfect trim and buoyancy and all that.
Yeah, and you have to go into it with the right attitude. You have to be willing to, if you're going to go into cave diving, to not let your ego interfere with what your training's going to be. What I mean by that is, I don't care how many dives you have as an open circuit diver. Cave diving is a completely different discipline, and buoyancy and trim and proper procedures is everything, including when you're multitasking and working. So you gotta accept that they're going to be not caring about your previous open water experience and caring more about what they're going to train you as it pertains to cave diving.
Yep. Your scariest experience as divers, I think to me was doing the checkout dive for my cave DPV certification with Ed. And every time Ed is evaluating me, it's the scariest because you don't want to mess up. You're like, it's like when you do the drive test to get your driver's license, you're like 10-2 and you're like, perfect. Stop for an extra second on the stop sign. That's kind of how it is getting evaluated by Ed.
I can't disagree with that. You're pretty nervous. And he means well, but it is Ed, right? So you're dealing with one of the greatest cave divers in the world looking at you.
Biggest shark encounter in the wild. I mean, those bull sharks that we saw in West Palm Beach once, they look like 2 refrigerators together. I mean, they were huge. And they were awesome. There were like tens of them.
Yeah.
All
for
around.
Me, it's close between whale sharks I've seen in Mexico and great white sharks I've seen in South Africa. I don't know.
I haven't seen great whites.
Both had my jaw open and like, wow.
Yeah, I've also done whale sharks, but out in the wild, just diving was the bull sharks in Florida. They were massive.
For me, I guess the biggest is the whale sharks in Mexico that I saw.
Well, yeah. Let's see. Do the larger sharks give you pause? Nope.
No.
They're awesome. I'm just looking at them and being like, wow.
Yeah, they don't care about
Dude, you're so awesome.
They're not even remotely interested in
Have you ever encountered a whale? Well, according to Woody, yes, because I saw dolphins when I was in the Maldives. I was diving with dolphins. And Woody claims the dolphins are whales, so I guess the answer is yes.
Luckily, my claim is fact, and we don't have to even debate it because we did debate it, and then Gus had to admit that I was right. Like usual.
Have you ever encountered a dead diver? No, I have not.
I hope never to.
That's right.
Thanks for all the congrats, by the way. I am reading them, and I really appreciate it. And it was, for me, that this was a big accomplishment. I was really excited about it, and I still am excited about it.
Have you ever lost any close friends to diving accidents? No, I haven't lost any close friends. We've had people who die that are kind of acquaintances that we know of them, but I wouldn't call them close friends. So no.
Same with me. Same.
Let's see. Any thoughts on mammalian dive reflex and the ability to control your heart rate?
I mean, that is a free diving question, and yes, they can. Absolutely. I saw some free divers this past weekend at Buford, man. This one guy, he looked so chilled and calm. He was doing it with no fins. No fins.
All the way to the
cruising
bottom?
To the bottom. And then he would do these amazing, but a line all the way down. He would just do these giant, perfect form each way up.
Yeah.
And he was like, stopped at one point on the way up to come and like hang with us. Like he was like, I felt like it was like 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, are you going to go back up? So obviously.
Do you want to
No, he was just like looking it was mind-boggling.
Have I ever found any jewelry or a treasure or something like that? No.
Yeah. Well,
not
you
really.
saw me find gold and diamonds, remember?
No, I did not.
Remember what I found?
I did not see you do that at all. I saw you find glass and trash. But the best thing I've ever found was, I found like weights, like a weight belt. I found a finger spool. People dropped it, I guess. And I found a shark tooth, once without really looking. Like we've found megalodon teeth, but without looking, I saw a shark tooth once at Blue Grotto. Let's see. Have you ever been stung by jellyfish?
Yes, badly.
Sucks.
Man, one time I jumped off of a boat and I wasn't in a wetsuit. It was at the Gulf of Mexico just to go swimming. And a man of war, man, they just laced my stomach.
Yikes.
And I came back up. It looked like somebody was like whipping me on my stomach. I was like on fire, man. And I'm trying to remember if we had vinegar or not. I don't think so. So I was in pain for a while. So vinegar will neutralize the sting.
This is a good question. Are there any real differences between the major dive agencies? Small differences.
Yeah, I don't even like to tell people, you should pick your certification based on the agency. Pick your instructor. They all have to follow the same procedures.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we still use our DPV. Robin's asking as much as possible. Love it. I used it all weekend.
Yep. Somebody asked, what is number one in our bucket list for diving? For me, it was the Crystal Caves, which I did recently. And now I don't really know if I have a number one thing that I want to accomplish.
I want to go to that pool, that deep pool in Dubai.
We should.
That would be really exciting.
Yeah, we should do that.
Man of Wars,
awesome. I
guess they could be deadly. For the most part, no. We just talked about this at some aquarium training yesterday. So they're not toxic enough to kill most people. Box jellyfish are.
You know, we get this question a lot. Do you encounter animals deep inside the caves? The short answer is yes. There's always these translucent little bugs that are thousands of feet inside the cave. I have no idea what they eat. I guess silt. I don't know. But if you're asking animals like a barracuda or something, no, you don't see stuff like that. You see catfish once in a while in Florida, but they're not a lot of them, and they're not typically deep inside the caves.
Heidi knows more about us than we know about it because she just said that, no, your bucket list dive is the Britannic.
My number one bucket dive for wreck dives, yes.
Okay, well, she's right, like usual.
Okay, all right. Heidi, that's right. Thank you for reminding me.
Heidi, you're awesome, and you know more about us than we know about ourselves.
What do you guys do for lessons? Oh, where do you guys do your lessons? Mainly Florida and Georgia. And, we're not full-time instructors, so we don't do this full-time. It's only once in a while. Have you guys ever reacted to diving PC games? No, we haven't reacted to any video games. I know that people want us to play, but I know they're going to be so unrealistic that I'm just going to get frustrated. Let's see.
My next hat purchase.
Oh my.
I have a couple in mind. They're amazing, and you'll just have to wait and see. But there is one in particular that I want that I can't wait for.
Yeah.
We have a pretty cool video coming up soon, by the way.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. And I have worn a hat that sort of symbolizes it.
Some people here have seen it because members have access to it. By the way,
that was part one.
If you're not a member, please consider to become a member because you get access to all of our videos ahead of time. And we're getting ready to start shipping swag to Argonaut members as well.
Yeah.
We've been working on this forever. We didn't just want to send a sticker and call it a day. We actually have plans for really, really cool stuff. So stay tuned for that.
Bonnie, you can send me a hat. Absolutely. Our address is on our website.
Yep, or on our YouTube channel. Yep.
Divetalk.com.
Yep.
I would love that. And
Why do you always wear a hat, Woody?
Usually it's because
same reason why I almost
I'm
never
cold.
wear hats.
Number one. Number two, outside I have had skin cancer right here. So, but when I'm in Gus's refrigerator here, it's just a form of staying somewhat warm.
Yes.
And I don't know. It's just become a habit, and I like them.
I love it. Hobbies outside of diving. I've seen guys wear motorcycle shirts. Do you ride? Yes, we both do. We both have Indian Scout bobbers. So thanks for asking. So I guess that's my only hobby that I have outside of diving. Because if I have time to do anything, I'm going to go dive. Yeah. Like today I rode the motorcycle to go get some lunch.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't rode mine in a while. I need to get back on it. Hey, Al. You want to say hi?
Let's see. When will Mr. Ballin be featured on the channel? I don't know yet, but we want to. We want to feature him. Yep. Al is on the
Baby.
On the stream. What do you do for a living outside of diving? I work with IT, and Woody does a bunch of different things. How do you fund your dives? Well, locally, when you start diving, rebreathers and things like that, diving is actually not that expensive. You just have to get places, and then you can go dive, especially in the caves.
Well, but the helium, I do want to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
So this weekend when I did Eagle's Nest, for the 2 steel 85s, it was about $160 worth of helium fills.
Yep.
Helium's really expensive.
But you only
now.
use it if you bail out.
Yeah. So
you can keep it for next dive and next dive.
The gas is still there. We'd have to top them off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we do use it for BCD inflation and for some dilling.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever considered moving to Florida every week? Every time I'm like, damn it, I wish I lived in Florida. Every weekend I'm like, I wish I was in Florida. So I'll be diving.
I'm going to be there a lot more. I'm opening a big swim school in Pembroke Pines, Florida. So I will be there starting, I would say, in February every week. Every single week I'll be in South Florida.
One piece of life advice. That's a big question.
I would say live in the moment. What I said earlier. For divers, make every dive your favorite dive. Tell them that this dive right now is my single favorite dive. There'll be people want to dive with you because you're excited about that moment. And I try to live my life in the moment.
Yeah. For me, I live my life by one motto, which is everything in life worth doing is worth overdoing. So if you really like something and you want to commit to something, just go for it. Like I don't really do a whole lot of things besides diving and YouTube and work, right, and family. So if you want to be a diver, I get those comments. We get those comments a lot. People are like, "Man, I want to be a diver, but I'm broke and I cannot spend time on this." And okay, well, if you have all those excuses, then obviously you can make it. But I mean, we have friends that are like working on minimum wage jobs, and they are sidewinder rebreather cave divers. So it's all a matter of overdoing it, which is the way I live.
Hey, Jimmy, cool. You live in Pembroke Pines. Yeah, right in front of Pembroke Lakes Mall. That standalone building. It was an old, what do they call those furniture stores? It all closed. I forgot, but that's going to be a world-class Big Blue swim facility, and that'll be mine.
Yep. Somebody gave me a shout out for the cool shirt. Thank you. Shopdivetalk.com. Go check it out. We have rash guards, t-shirts, all kinds of stuff.
Thank you, Logan.
Gus, do you wear a sea dweller? Sometimes.
Oh, cool. You're going to do your open water dive, Logan. That's great. At Hudson and Devil's Den. So enjoy it, and you'll be certified. That's amazing.
Have you seen sea turtles when diving?
Many.
Hundreds,
especially off of us in South Florida.
Yeah.
Big loggerheads. I mean, these are like 500-600 pounders down there.
Yep.
I saw only one time did I ever see a leatherback. Those leatherbacks look like dinosaurs.
They're awesome. When are we going to get another DPV sword fight? I guess jousting they're talking about.
I have a certification card for it.
Exactly, me too.
So hopefully very soon. We need to coordinate that with Medi, who will set up another round.
Tournament, yeah.
And I want to apologize in advance for what comes out of my mouth when I get into the joust mode. And I'm like, come on, you.
Do it. Somebody asked a couple times if helium can be produced chemically. I have no idea.
I don't know.
But they should, because it's a gold mine right now, if they can. Can someone dive if they have dealt with sinus congestions on one side or the other? I deal with it quite often, but I want to experience diving. I think as long as you get clearance by your doctor, we're good. And we do get questions like that. It's like, I suffer from XYZ disease. Can I dive? I have no idea.
Not for us to say. Hey, Effie, by the way, everybody, Effie's there. Thank you for the wishes to 200.
Yes.
And thanks for being with us from the start. And he runs our store.
Yeah, Gus, do you game at all on your PC? Nope, I do not. I actually have Steam installed on my PC, but that's because I wanted to experience something that was created by who I consider to be the best podcaster in the world. And he created, his name is Dan Carlin, and he created something called War Remains, which makes you experience what World War I was like. You put in like like a headset. It's like
I'm thinking
virtual reality headset,
Oh,
and you
okay.
can be immersed into World War One.
Okay,
That's pretty badass.
When I hear, do you game? You mean like asteroids?
Yeah,
Or
exactly like asteroids.
That's what we mean. You know,
Hardcore history. Hell yeah, that's right. Dan Carlin, man, he's the man. When I was podcasting, I remember I would record a video. And I'm like, man, I'm getting good at this, and then I would listen to Dan Carlin. And I'd be like, I should stop. I should stop immediately. He's the best.
Well, how many people does he have? Subscribers?
Like 13 million per episode.
Yeah, we're getting there.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Have you ever dived a cenote in Mexico or Central America? I have not.
Western other hobbies. I do like climbing a whole lot. Haven't been doing it recently, but man, I do really, really enjoy climbing. I need to get back in shape to get back into that. I'm a little out of shape right now.
What is the most irritating thing you had to outlast through a long cave dive? I'm not.
For you, was it did you have any kind of a flood or anything? Being cold, I would say for me, one
flood in your dry suit?
Yeah, one time I, got a little flood in my dry suit and just being cold, waiting for the Deco to wear off.
I remember, I don't know if I could tell this story, but I remember we were at Deco and you were wet. Like, that was the previous dry suit that was complete garbage.
Yeah, I was wet every time.
Yeah.
Might as well just been a wetsuit.
And I look at you and you're like holding the pee. You're like, like dying because you're cold. and I look at the computer and it was like, I don't know, like 20 minute Deco. And I'm like, oh boy, this is bad.
Do you think I held it?
No. So like 5 minutes later, I see this light and I look at you and you're like, I'm peeing. Like, I just cannot forget.
Right in that dry
and then
suit.
you just threw the dry suit on the trash.
Of course. It was
Forget it. I'm done with this. That was hilarious. For me, I don't know. I don't think so.
Who's older, Woody or Gus? Wow, that's like a nice compliment.
Thank you.
Mentally,
you are.
mentally or physically? I am way older. I'm 57. I don't know. People ask like, I did that. So that's it.
Wow, look at this question. Gus, do you consider yourself the best diver in the world? World in all caps. Of course. If you watch our videos, you know how much.
Again, that whole thing about best diver, I just don't like. It has nothing to do with diving in terms of best or who's best. I don't like to introduce that into the diving. It's not like a sport. It's more of an activity. But we are always
are second best.
We're always learning.
Every other dive channel says they're the best. We're second best.
Oh, best dive channel in the world? Well,
nobody's taking number 2 from us. Nobody.
Yeah, we're solid number 2.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Where are we? Have you ever dived with hydrogen? No.
I don't.
And we have no plans.
It's too volatile.
We have no plans.
I don't want to be like diving with Gus when he's on hydrogen because he may explode next to me.
Right. Can you dive without being certified? You can do anything once, my friend. I don't recommend diving without being certified. That's for sure.
Navigation tips. Can we give some? That's what JD asked.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to do that here on a chat like this. We do both teach underwater navigation class, and I have a massive amount of tips. And this I'm talking about for open water in the ocean. It is one of my favorite classes to teach. I've probably taught, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 students in that class, and I can really change your way of thinking about underwater navigation. It's a lot different than you may think. It's not just sitting there holding your compass.
Weston Crockett is asking, any plans to dive in Texas? There's a bunch of caves yet to be explored over here, but they're in private property. Dude, let us in.
I mean,
give us permission. We'll call Mike.
Immediately we call Mike, and we would want to come.
Absolutely. I would love to. What's your favorite wreck that you have dove? I would say the Oriskany, probably. I mean, that was a cool wreck.
For me, yeah.
But we haven't seen a whole lot.
I've been to Chuck Lagoon, and in terms
That's
of my
another level.
overall favorite wreck diving trip, boy, I mean, you just can't imagine that place. So,
yeah. Have you ever seen reckless divers while you're diving?
yeah,
A ton.
unfortunately.
Especially on dive boats, people running out of air. It's just insanity. It's Wild Wild West sometimes. Is it a good idea to run a reel in open water for navigation? I do know cave divers use that to know the way in and out. Depending on what you're doing. In wrecks, you can you can use it to explore if you have bad visibility, but
not in a coral system, because that would be really frowned upon. You're gonna destroy the coral and hurt the coral. So no, we don't navigate that way in open water. We are going to deep dive Dubai eventually. We've been talking about that. We have not yet, but yes, we absolutely want to.
Woody, when are you taking Gus dry caving? I get invites every week.
He just recently invited him.
That's right. When was that?
It's on your calendar.
I'm busy. I'm busy that day. I remember now. Yeah.
So we are taking him, and there's I'm going to film him in this one particular part where he's kind of wedged in.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
You know, on the next one that you guys are going to do, I'm busy that day too. I don't know. Just to letting you know. Yeah,
you won't be able to hand me the camera because your arms won't be able to move, so I'll film you.
I don't know about that. Is the Blue Hole in Dahab on your list? Absolutely. We would love to check that out. Maybe we hit that and then go to Dubai. You know, why not? We're already out. We're already out and about.
We're out and about in the world.
Do you guys know much about the WKPP and the Wakulla connection dives? Not a whole lot. I mean, I'm aware of it. The fact that they connected, you know, I'm aware of the project, but I'm not deeply involved with it, and I don't know a lot of the details.
Wow, Fabian, you won one of the Orca torches and used it. Awesome. Yeah. They're great lights.
Will you go dry caving to reach an underwater cave? Probably. That will be the only reason.
Except for the one coming up where he'll be wedged in and I'll be filming him.
Never.
Let's
Utah
see.
waterfall cave dive anytime in the near future? I don't know. I wish. We're just super busy. Yeah. I would love to. The one with the waterfall? Man.
I mean, it really is just a matter of time where, we want to do all these things. Why do you need to start on open circuit? Because, listen, remember on a rebreather that your bailout option is open circuit. So you very well may be on open circuit quite often on a rebreather. Yep. And when we're rebreather diving, we're always carrying open circuit gear. You need dive experience before you start on a rebreather.
Yep. Favorite post-dive meal? Yes. Everything.
Favorite food group or restaurant? I mean,
depending on where we are.
A lot of times I'm just craving a big juicy burger or a pizza. You just want something kind of greasy and hearty.
Or Italian
in general. It's just after diving. I just had a huge chicken
Nothing
parm.
healthy. Nothing healthy.
After Eagle's Nest, I'd chowed on chicken parm and pasta.
We would drive for 30 minutes passing salad bars to get to a good burger.
I mean, the 2 for $5 at Burger King
it's legit.
Is totally a good option.
Absolutely. Come to Ireland. We want to. Thank you. Who has the deepest dive out of you two? I think Woody has been deeper than me by like 100 feet.
Hey, Nikki, we don't rent rebreathers. It's very rare. You have to be certified on a particular rebreather. That's how rebreather certs work. So the answer is almost never will you find the ability to rent a rebreather. It's certain that you'd have to be certified on that rebreather to rent it.
Do you train instructors open water or cave?
Yes.
Open water. Woody's an instructor trainer.
I'm going to run an instructor trainer class for sure. I can't give you the date yet. It's going to be at Ocean Treasure in South Florida. We may even combine, it's a couple weeks where we have a rescue class going on. I have all these ideas, and we would just have to work Gus from South Florida for a while.
Yeah.
Since you can work virtually and I could work virtually, we're going to figure it out.
Yes. Best food ever. And
for those of you that want to take Science of Diving, by the way, I am running what is now the largest Science of Diving class June 15th and 16th. You can sign up for it. We have posted it all over Facebook. It's unbelievable. This is going to be the biggest ever Science of Diving class for SSI. That's awesome. It's virtual because everybody is going to teach a portion of it. The only person that's not going to teach a portion of it is the instructor, me. Isn't that awesome? How good of an instructor I am?
Yes.
That's my style of teaching. You guys actually teach the virtual sessions. It's so cool this way. Get in on it. You can go to my Facebook page, Dive Talk's Facebook page.
Yep.
There is a sign-up link. $150. You get amazing digital materials.
It's 2 days, right?
It's 2 evenings.
2 evenings,
on
yeah.
the 15th and 16th from like 7 to 10 or 11 Eastern Standard Time. But the digital materials, you have to complete them prior to the class. So please, if you want to move up in SSI, this is a great specialty class. And it is required in SSI if you ever want to become a dive master with SSI. I think we're up to almost 50 students in it.
Absolutely. Thank you for the $5 super chat. It's asking if our biggest fear after running out of air is to go number 2. Actually, neither one of them are biggest fears because you monitor your air. You learn that on class number 1. You should never be afraid of running out of air. And you should also never be afraid of having to go number 2. Like, why? Just go before the dive, I guess. Or the night before, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
not a fear.
Dawned on me as a fear.
Yeah. And don't eat burritos before the dive, I guess. That's another life advice.
Yeah. Especially if you're in a dry suit.
Yeah.
Because it'll mess up your buoyancy. All that extra gas coming into your dry suit.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Do either one of you have set lines in unexplored caves? No. We have not.
I have not. I have been invited by Mike Young. I will be doing that in October in Roaring River below a 250-foot restriction. And I bought what some consider the best made heated full suit garment for under my dry suit for it. So
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
Doing a Tri-Scuba Saturday. Do we have any tips? Have a blast.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Relax and let your breathing dictate your buoyancy. Don't mess around with the low pressure inflator hose a lot. Just don't touch all that stuff. Just breathe underwater and feel how that affects where you are in the water column.
Is KISS rebreathers a complex system? How long does it take to get everything set up before each dive? I mean, it really depends because sometimes you can dive with a rebreather that you assembled for yesterday's dive. But you just get better over time. You know, you follow a checklist and you knock things out.
Thank you, all
Grendel,
for the super chat, and also from Salvador. How do you guys get such crisp video settings? Well, we do have amazing cameras that Gus has set up here in the studio, and Gus has a studio with really good lighting. He's very detailed about the sound quality. The cameras we buy are top-notch Sony.
That's right.
He's got just really good gear, and it matters. I've recently talked about that.
You gotta invest on good gear.
It matters. People notice, and it matters.
Yeah. And we do get that question once in a while. It's like, what is the cheapest camera I can get to start my channel? I say, well, if you don't care about video quality, then just get a $100 camera on Amazon, right? But yeah, we decided to invest in good stuff, so that's how we get crisp image.
And these super chats, we tend to take the money and invest in more.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Let's see. Do you ever plan to dive higher? What? Hanika Propest? I have no idea what that is. So probably yes. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. I have only ANTD cavern cores. All right. Keep going. Good job. Is diving equipment something that needs replacing much, or is it durable and a one-time buy kind of thing? Well, depending on how much you dive and what type of dives you're doing and what type of equipment you bought, but some people have one BCD and they use it for years and years and years and years. It's not something that you buy and then you have to buy one every couple of years or whatever, unless you damage it. But
you gotta have your gear serviced. That's the key. You should have it serviced. Most says annually.
Service for sure. Replace not as often.
It's really important.
Shout out to Brian, by the way, from Off Grid Backcountry Adventures. I always join his lives. He's always like cooking something delicious in the middle of nowhere. Like I have a full-on kitchen upstairs. I can do half of the stuff that this guy does with like a log and a tin can.
But if we go with him one time on one of his adventures, then we get to eat what he's cooking.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. And he has invited us. And it sounds amazing, except for the fact that there's no house, no AC, nothing.
But food.
You're just in the woods.
Can we show up just when he's cooking?
Yes, absolutely.
Like we motor out there on a four-wheeler. We're here for dinner.
That's right.
And then we're headed back to the Ritz.
I'm out. I'm not staying here. What are you doing here?
But I bet you if you asked Brian, he would be like, oh, man, the best part is sleeping outside with the bugs and the freezing temperature and the snakes and the bears that could eat me. That's what I love.
With the bugs.
The bugs, he probably loves
my
those
favorite
things
part.
Buzzing around his face.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But he's out there. But look, he goes into all these like ruins, like from Native American and stuff. Really cool. Like he gets to see stuff.
He's amazing.
That we'll never see.
I know he's amazing.
Right.
I will see it. But
well, I don't know. I don't know about that. But yeah, we'll definitely have to link up with Brian.
I'll spray myself from head to toe.
Take him diving.
And then when he sees my hiking, my outdoor sleeping type of stuff, when I like need to run an extension cord all the way back to where we are to blow up my air mattress inside my tent with a fan.
That's the worst.
Right? And I got all that going on.
I
hope, Brian, that's what you're thinking for me.
Wow. Is 24-inch restriction still your limit to swim through, and how do divers know that they won't get stuck? We don't know if we won't get stuck or not. We just go for it little by little, and if you get stuck, you back out then move a little bit and then try again.
I mean, I did get stuck in Shangri-La. Not maybe, but stuck, as in I'm stuck. And it was just a very methodical movements backwards to unstick myself.
What would be the first step to start diving? Sign up for a Try Scuba with your local dive shop.
Thank you,
D-Land 13.
I would recommend, if you are planning on getting certified on the Spirit, which I would love that to be with me, I would recommend that you start on the Spirit before you then go into Trimix, because you're going to have to redo it anyways on the rebreather. And yes, it can be configured and converted to a Sidewinder, the new ones. That's one of the cool features of it.
Exactly. Getting stuck must be very scary. It's not that bad, actually. Getting stuck is not scary because you're moving very slow and methodical. So it's sort of like you're going, it's like, and then you just back out. You're not going to go full speed and trucking ahead, because then you'll get stuck pretty bad if it's really, really small. So you do it small, and what we typically do is, or what I do, this is what Ed told me, is you go in, and if you get stuck, you can deflate your wing. You can like get rid of all your air and then go again, and you should be able to fit.
That's different techniques. Brian said, yep, he can set me up that way. Brian, I'm picturing like when I throw my tent stuff. I know tents have like sticks and stuff. That's somehow it becomes assembled. Because do you think I know how to assemble that tent? What do you think?
You don't know how to do any of it.
I mean,
nothing.
What are all these sticks? They're all over there's like 5,000 of them.
Like I love. So Woody sometimes when he goes dry caving with David Vigiano, who has been on the show.
He does everything.
And he's due to be on the show again. We want to have him. People love David whenever he's on the show. I love he's like live streaming from the woods. I'm like, how do you get any signal, number one? But number two, you can see David putting together Woody's tent.
And it's perfect.
On the back.
And it's perfect.
He does it in 30 seconds, yeah.
I mean, he loves it.
It's like, dude, do something. Learn.
Thank you, Hala. And I learned. I watched him.
Yes.
I'm going to watch him again.
Holly and Stella, thank you for the super thank you, I guess. So we're gonna find an adaptive training
Coleman's
near me.
That just pre-assemble and pop.
What? You know what's also pre-assembled? Marriott.
You know what else is pre-assembled? those Mercedes-Benz campers.
Mm-hmm.
That's all like a van with air conditioning and showers in them.
Yeah. Marriott's too.
Marriott is a nice campground.
Pre-assembled.
Yeah, it's real. The breakfast in the
Way to
morning.
go. Oh my God.
It's like camping.
Unlimited.
It's a buffet. You're sort of working.
Beautiful. All right. Let's see.
I'm coming, Brian. Don't worry. I'm coming on this, and I'm going to be hardcore when I go with you. I want face paint kind of camping.
What? He doesn't
you're out
use
there
face paint.
I'm out there in the wilderness.
Nobody uses face paint. You're
Brian,
not
comment. We're
what do you
camo.
think you are? Like a Navajo?
We're camo camping. That's the
What?
hardcore.
That's not even
way.
a thing. What is camo camping? What is that?
Where you got to hide from everything.
What?
And fit in, or you're going to get annihilated out there.
Oh, that's
Brian
right. Mosquitoes
knows my
are
kind of camping.
Mosquitoes are scared of camo.
He's like me. We're camo camping, Brian.
Oh my God.
And we're going to video the whole thing.
Jesus. Okay.
Now, Jesus will not be helping me out or you out there.
Do either of you like any sports? Yes.
Yes, diving.
That's
Which is not really a sport. And climbing.
My favorite sport is water polo, which I used to play.
Cool.
Love it.
I also like
sport.
diving.
You like
Scuba diving is good.
I'm glad. Is the water pressure inside caves the same as in the open water? Yes.
Oh, Brian, we're going there. Poverty Gulch, where the bears come down.
What?
I'm camoing every part of my body for that.
You're
Hands.
gonna need,
Brian,
gonna need the knife.
I want to. When we do this, he's going to acknowledge that I do know what I'm doing, and I'm going to sort of be the guide, and we're camo camping. I don't need that.
I'm ready.
I love bears. I would never hurt an animal. Bears are wonderful.
Well,
and adorable.
Just take this as a good luck charm.
You want to see a tough camping dog that I can?
Oh my God, dude, that will be dessert for the bears.
Me and this girl.
Great dessert.
Me and this girl are.
You're like,
We are.
The first guy wasn't big enough. Glad this poor dog. That's what the bear's gonna think.
Are you kidding me? This girl, if I give her the command, will fly across the desk right now. I don't want to give her the command.
Yeah.
That's the kind of camp dog I got.
Let's see. What else do we have? Going on a coral research trip with my university to Venezuela. Oh, man. Any tips and helpful info I should know before I go? Don't go.
I thought I want to go to Venezuela with you.
That's a helpful tip.
Badly.
Do not go.
I can't wait to. We're going to go to your home country. You're going to show me around.
Well, yeah. We're going to need to bring more knives.
Venezuela?
Boy. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. Is buying a rebreather needed to take the course? Take the rebreather course? Yes. Although I think some places you can rent it, but I think the rental is insanely expensive, like $300 or $400 a day just to rent the rebreather.
And it's kind of
so you'll spend thousands of dollars and not own it. What's the point?
It's not. It's rare that people do rent a rebreather.
Here in Mexico, I camp a lot, and we use camouflage to hide from the narcos.
See?
No, I don't see. That's completely different than what Brian is doing.
No, Brian is going to do what
He's not hiding from drug smugglers.
Will be camoed. I'm going to help him.
Oh, my God.
Brian, I'm going to step up your game. Camo camping coming.
Have you guys ever dived at Peacock 3?
Oh.
We have not, but we will.
I have it planned, by the way. I didn't tell you. Benjamin wants to do that.
Yeah.
And we are going to dive that.
Awesome. Jodo, thank you for the super chat. Do you guys know anyone working on the Endurance shipwreck in the Antarctic or planning on making a video about it? I don't. But we'll love to come and video that. Yeah, glamping. That's what I'm talking about.
I did ask, is the Atlanta Aquarium going to bring back the rebreather program? I was speaking with the dive immersion people yesterday. I was there all day. And they want to. And they also want to bring back the dive show. They want to get everything back that was pre-COVID. Remember that the reason they shut down the rebreather program is because you're breathing out of a loop. And even though they steramine it and clean it, just the thought of that with COVID going around was a negative.
Yeah.
But they want to bring it all back.
Gus and Woody, you're welcome to come and join us. We're staying at one of the islands for 2 weeks. What is that? Is that the Venezuelan trip? And if so, which island?
Venezuela have island?
Dude, we have islands. We have some of the only uninhabited, unexplored islands in the Caribbean.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you say we,
Venezuelans.
You left.
Well, I know. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Is saturation diving harder than cave diving? It's two different things.
Remember, saturation diving, guys, think of the commercial divers that are like 500 feet on an oil rig, and they're down there for so long that all their tissues are flooded with as much nitrogen as it can be. There is no more. So they like take a month to come up.
Would you guys ever react to the Linnea Mills incident? That was a death with a dry suit. Maybe in the future when more of the facts are known. As of now, that's going through the court system, and, you know, it's kind of like he said, she said type of thing. So when the facts come out, if they ever come out, we can talk about it.
I love Bonaire, by the way. I see somebody saying about Bonaire.
Going diving in the Georgia Aquarium on July 5th. Super hyped. Awesome.
Nice. Thank you for talking about Elle Domingo da Vinci. She's right here. She's with me, by the way, on many, many of the videos, usually, sitting right here with me. She just usually sleeps down there. She's very patient.
Great comment from Efe. It's just icons. Do you need permits from Venezuelan government to dive in caves? I have no idea.
But, you know, if you're with Efe, like in person,
yes,
he doesn't talk a lot. You won't have to worry about just icons. You'll say hi, and then for the next hour,
get some.
You will not say one other word because Efe will be talking nonstop.
Yeah, I heard. What is the scariest dive you've ever did? I don't know. Probably the first dive I went without an instructor. That was the scariest. Bonaire is a Dutch island off of Venezuela. Okay, but you're not going to Venezuela then. You're just going to Bonaire.
I would recommend Dan in general. You said what insurance would you recommend? Dan's the go-to.
You should try cave diving in France. Absolutely. We want to.
Thanks, Alan, for being a member. Hi.
Let's see.
Is Dave Reiser in the house? Somebody said Robin's talking to Dave
Reiser.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Dave's going to be in tomorrow's video.
Oh, yes.
Featured prominently in tomorrow's video.
Oh, yeah. As he should be.
All right. Let's see. You guys are awesome. You inspired me to start diving. Next week, I'm taking my first dive ever.
Great.
Due to a resort course. Awesome. Jealous. You're in a resort.
Thank you, David. These super chats.
They really help.
We do take that money and sort of isolate it and say, we got to invest it into the channel itself.
Yeah,
but
I appreciate that.
It says, thanks for the content, guys. I'm a non-diver. I have no intention of diving. That's funny. But love watching your videos. In Scotland, when we go outdoor swimming, we normally come out of the water blue.
Cold.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I think you have a lot of golf there.
Yeah. When are we going to South Africa? And Scotch. When are we going to South Africa to dive the caves over there? I mean, I love South Africa. It's one of my favorite countries. And I would love to go there, but I'm not sure when. Do people cave dive hot springs? Funny that you asked. There is one in Florida that it's only by permit, and the last time it was dove, it was 7 years ago, I believe. You need a permit to do that. And I think there's more cave to explore, so I actually talked to Mike and said, you guys should do this. I'm not going to do it because the temperature of the water is 104 degrees.
That's perfect.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so I'm going to do it.
That is torture.
That's like diving in a hot tub.
That is the hottest legally temperature that hot tubs can go to in the United States.
That will be the first time in years I will drop down to a 3 mil.
Oh, my God.
From a 5 mil. Finally, I can be in a 3 mil. I've been waiting to dive in a 3 mil.
Dude, 104 degree water is nuts.
Magnificent.
Oh, No way. I'd rather 4 degrees. Okay, let's see. Is there a place you wouldn't dive? I don't know. Siphons?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are.
I mean, we have dove a siphon. Sea caves can easily siphon on you because their current changes, but not a strong siphon.
Will you dive in Chernobyl?
I don't think so.
How much % fish is Woody? 0.
90-ish. Cool. Oh, I did it. We did some more O-dive stuff where we were checking for bubbles.
Yeah.
The only problem is, what do you think I showed up with?
0 bubbles again?
300-foot dive, 0 bubbles.
Oh, my God.
Because I don't bubble. I'm a cephalopod.
Okay.
I know what I am. I really feel like I know what I am.
Yeah. What do you do in IT? I implement CRM systems, to be more specific. What's the disadvantage of diving in a Speedo?
We can cry about it together. I'm not following.
Who?
Christy.
Oh, I think...
Hi, Christy, by the way.
I think they were talking about going diving, and everybody's saying that they look forward to it with Dave Reiser and whatnot. But Robin is in Netherlands, so she's like, I can't make it. So Christy's saying, okay, we'll cry together. I think that's what's happening.
Ah.
There's a whole lot of conversation going on here between all the meetup crew. When is Woody talking us into dry caving? Never.
Couple weeks. We're both going.
Thank you, Jordan, for the super chat. We're the best dive show on the planet, period. Well, we already said we're number 2. Everyone else says they're number 1, but nobody's taking.
I love number 2.
Nobody's taking number 2 from us.
We keep number 2 forever.
That's right. Do you guys teach side mount? No, we don't. I'm really down to try it. Looks beautiful in the water.
We teach rebreather, which in effect is carrying your bailouts side mount.
That's right.
I teach rebreather,
but not open circuit side mount.
But yeah, I just don't have a desire to side mount on open circuit when I can be on my rebreather.
Have you ever seen a blue whale? No. And then when I see a blue whale, I think might be the first time I cry in 40 years.
I think it'll be the first time I cry in that day. Probably that day, I would probably have already cried about something else I saw.
Oh my God. Yes. Let's see what else. We need an updated gear locker video. There's not a whole lot that has changed other than now I have a sidewinder.
Oh, I am going to be doing Shearwater has sent me their brand new Perdix that just came out. It's incredible, and it does have some new features. And I'm going to be doing an unboxing review of it. And we are also going to be doing that for the Petrol 3 that just came out.
Rose said blue whales is the largest animal in the world. It's actually the largest animal that ever lived. Bigger than every dinosaur, bigger than every animal ever. Somebody said, what is the coldest place you've dived? Iceland. Yeah. Iceland for both of us.
Well, I did go ice diving in Utah. So I'm going to go with my ice diving in Utah in a frozen lake where I had to cut a hole through the ice. That trumped Iceland.
Yep. Care to explain what Draeger rebreathers are and why the military uses them? It's a little too much, but Woody had a Draeger on. We feature it on the channel, and they're basically oxygen-only rebreathers. They're meant to dive down to 20 feet, so military doesn't have to dive super deep. They just dive to 20 feet, and then they infiltrate, places and whatnot.
The military uses them just because they have some incredible redundant features, making them, like, bulletproof.
Yeah.
But, they wouldn't really open it all the way up for us to show us some of that stuff. They have some very unique features.
Let's see. Any Antarctica plan on the horizon? No, I wish.
Oh, yeah, about the prizes for the 100K giveaway. Susan's working on.
I have to go back and look at who were the runner-ups.
And the winner, though, we still have to get that together because they get to make a video with us, who I think was Heidi, by the way. I think Susan is coordinating.
Heidi's recommending, can we please get some Gus and Woody plush dolls? They want to squeeze us. I don't think so. I don't think they make those. Like we send them a picture, they'll be like, no,
that's
we'll
Effie
pass.
can figure that
No,
out.
they'll pass.
I wouldn't mind being squeezed.
Even the factories in China will be like, no, we won't make these.
Are we going to be squeezed at the same time or separate?
It doesn't matter. We're not.
Well, this is the things I like to ask and think about.
Oh my God.
Dual squeezing or separate squeezing? I mean, these are all details.
Why is that important?
Because details matter. We're divers.
Wow.
Plan out the squeeze.
Do you take satellite GPS locators with you? Yes, in open dives, open water dives, I do. I have a Garmin GPS system that can be submerged to 3 feet or 1 meter. So, I put it on a waterproof container. If I come out and the boat is gone or something, like it happened to Jakey, the diver that we talked to in the channel, then I can take it out of the case and call for help.
I see Terry talking about what Robin and Liz, Robin and Christy are jealous about. So Terry is taking my rebreather class, and we may have somebody else joining us. I hope he will as well. For 2 students going at the same time, and Dave Reiser is just going to fly in.
He's going to tag along.
Meet us. Although I haven't made any arrangements yet, Dave. I know you probably are about to message me on that, but I will soon in terms of where we're staying and all that.
Yep. Gus, I saw that you have a Hydros Pro BCD. Can you upload a video explaining your setup, what accessories you carry, and all of that? I actually gave that BCD to my brother, who got certified last year, so over a year ago, and I gifted it to him. Not only my Hydros Pro, but I also gave him my Scuba Pro, carbon 8700 regulator. So he's pretty happy. So he's diving with that. So he's the one who has it set up.
And Dave, we'll have your tanks. I ordered you some tanks, as you know.
How many dives do you guys have with Dave?
I don't know. I
dozens.
I was his instructor a lot on rebreathers, so I don't know, Dave.
What fins are your preferred fins?
Deep 6 Eddy.
Yep, Deep 6 Eddy fins. We are both diving that. Is there anyone you wish you could interview for the show? Yeah, there's several people that I wish I could interview for the show. Definitely. But very, very difficult to get some of these guys. Let's see. What else? We have about 15 more minutes or so, and then we're going to drop off. Gus, how many dives have you been on? Like total dives? I don't know, between 500 and 600. But I don't know the exact number. What size are your Bella bottles depending on the dive?
My fins are orange because Deep 6 has not made the Eddies yet in pink.
And because orange is better.
They're making me a pair in pink. I am told by the owners they are making me a pink pair.
Gus, how do you go from IT to doing cave diving and part-time YouTube? I haven't gone from IT to doing cave diving. I still do IT. This is not my full-time job.
Yeah.
Cave diving happens once in a while. What kind of watches you guys wear if you wear any? I don't wear a watch when I'm diving, typically only if I'm like traveling. And I'll just wear my watch. And yes, Terry's asking 600 dives since 2018. Yes. Let's see. But that's again 500 to 600 total dives, not cave dives. Cave dives, I only have 66. Woody has 101, but total dives, Woody has like 7,000 or something like that.
7,000.
Yeah.
525 to be exact.
Total dives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at my log.
10 times more than me. What do you think about the AP Inspiration? I have no thoughts on it. I've never dived the AP Inspiration, so I have no idea. It's a rebreather. That's as much as I know. Let's see. How much does a typical dive cost? Depending on the dive and depending on what you're diving. Some dives are very, very inexpensive.
You know, dive boats out of Florida now are charging about $80, $85 for a 2-tank dive. That may be what you're asking.
Yep. Why not use a GPS in a cave instead of following a rope? Because GPS don't work underwater, and especially inside a cave, it will be a nightmare. Let's see.
Forgot to share this.
Will Gus ever wear a Woody hat? I actually wore a hat during one of our classes. So if you want to see me wear hats, sign up for Dive Talk Scuba classes, like the Science of Diving class that is coming up next week. Don't miss it. Let's see. I love your videos. Good job. You inspire me. So I'm seeking professional training to become a cave diver. That's awesome. Good luck. Hopefully you can join the family. What's it scary for you mentally when you disconnected and, for instance, oxygen during the dive? That's for Woody.
Was I scared?
No, because
it was
we briefed
planned, and I was watching him be very controlled, and we could slowly see his lungs collapsing, and it was, completely planned and organized, so there was no issue.
Thank you, David Moore, for another super chat. Do you think we would ever have technology that could be worn that on a wrist, for example, that will allow you to enter a cave without safety lines, or if they fail, and then help you find your way out? I guess, can you find your way out with a watch? I don't know. I mean, some people say it's like, how come you don't have a mask that can see through the silt with like ultrasound and like map the walls and tell you where everything is? Like, I have no idea. Like, that's probably a thing in the military or something. I don't know. I'm sure the technology like that exists. I'm sure Elon Musk can make it, but we are not billionaires. So lines are good enough. We also get the questions like, how come lines are not made of like light, or reflective? Because we don't need that. You need the line to get out in the case of a silt out. And in that case, a reflective rope is useless. Like in full silt outs, literally I'm staring at my light and I can't see it. It's that pitch black.
I mean, reliability is the big thing. That's the bottom line answer of that. The technology just isn't reliable enough. Imagine if you're that far back and deep in a cave. It could lose the ability to.
What is your favorite piece of gear that you have? When I think of overall, I love my rebreathers, of course, but my dive computer is my baby. Like, that thing is just.
I think mine's a Sidewinder. I just think it's such a game.
You think the Sidewinder is?
For me, it's such a game changer in the cave. It allows me to get to places in the cave that I would never be able to get to because there's nothing on my back. It's all side mount. So I think the Sidewinder.
Yeah. But the computer, for those of you who are recreational divers, I always say, get a good computer because that thing is awesome.
Which would be basically meaning get a Shearwater.
Get a Shearwater computer, that's right.
I'm just at the point where, honestly, I just can't think of any other brand of computer that I would want. I'm just that far on the side of Shearwater.
And we are not ambassadors for Shearwater. We don't get paid to talk about Shearwater.
Send us free Shearwaters.
We just love it.
But it's just so good.
Yep, absolutely. Do you recommend diving at night? Absolutely. If you know what you're doing, night diving is awesome.
Terry, don't be sad. You can absolutely dive a Kiss Spirit in caves. Many people do. I did all of my training in the Abacos Crystal Caves on the Spirit.
That's right. We both got certified in caves.
It's just very tight restrictions, like is going to then cause you to need the Sidewinder, which, that's a long way down the road if you plan on going in that kind of environment.
Is Woody able to hold his breath for longer than 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Have you ever had to use the bathroom diving? Well, like peeing? Yeah, 1,000,000 times. I don't know how many times.
Every time.
Every time. I try not to, but when I make a commitment, I go 10 times that dive. Might as well.
Deepest dive is about, I could look on my computer, like 375, 385.
Yep. Let's see. What are you saying? Prove it. Prove that you can hold it for 3 minutes. Like how?
Well, we could do that at some point. Yeah.
I don't know. Any new dives planned? Always. What caves that you guys have wanted to dive but haven't? I don't know. What caves do we want to dive that we haven't? I mean, I want to dive the dives under Budapest, underneath Budapest. Budapest is sitting on top of dives, on top of caves, like miles of caves. I want to dive those, but everything else I'm pretty much have done.
Yeah. Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan, thank you.
Doing a rescue, thinking about going pro. Well, the rescue will really be the separation point of which folks out there in your rescue class you would think are able to jump to that next level and go pro. The rescue class is a big step in that direction.
Definitely. Would you ever sup down to the Titanic? Sure. If you have a submarine, they can take me down to the Titanic. Let's do it. The one in Utah behind the waterfall, absolutely. Any caves in Australia they want to dive? The Shaft cave looks pretty cool. The one that has killed 16 people or whatever that we featured. That cave looked cool. I would do that. Yep. Let's see.
Yeah, you can, just because you fear deep water doesn't mean you can't become a diver. Remember, honestly, the most beautiful ocean dives are shallow, everybody. 30, 40, 50-foot dives are amazing. So you don't have to go deep to be a diver.
Right. Jonathan is saying, let's go to Russia and dive in abandoned hospital basements. What?
I don't know. Okay.
We get views, though. So you should go, Woody.
Well, I don't know what's in
just
that.
Dive through the needles and blood.
Well, when I see you shoved into a dry cave and one video in your face all blown up in there, then I'll dive the hospital.
How hard is staying correctly buoyant? It just gets better with practice, and gear configuration is important as well.
I'll be like, Gus, wedge further in or this Cheeto is not going in your mouth.
What? That is so offensive.
Well, you offend me, I offend you.
Let's see.
Franz, thank you. Will you guys collab with Mr. Ballen or Mr. B. Allen?
Yeah.
Saw you guys talking about that. We want to, and I think we will. Obviously, it's up to him more than us. He's way bigger than us and way better than us, but we would love to. And he's recently shared the last video I did with them. He shared that on his channel. That's a big honor.
Yeah. What is it about cave diving that captivated you enough to want to become a cave diver?
I wanted to go to the Crystal Caves in the Bahamas, to be honest with you. That was one of the main drives for me.
Yeah. For me, it's just more about the skills. I wanted to gain the skills needed to do it safely. But yeah.
The mortician lady, some people say I would love you all to talk to her. I don't think she wants to talk to us.
I mean, I tried. I reached out to her.
We were brutal. I was really brutal.
I reached out to her
I
to see if she wanted to be on the show, but she did not respond.
I was shocked. I mean,
I wonder why.
Had not one nice word to say during that video.
Have you guys seen Richard Harris' video on the Pierce Resurgence? Have you seen Richard Harris' video on the Pierce Resurgence? Is that like a super deep cave?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm just going to say,
I don't know.
Stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. I forgot. Duh.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. That's very funny. Yeah, I'd stay tuned.
Yeah. What is your favorite funny story that happened while scuba diving? I mean, the pier dive in Cozumel with Mike, by far.
I literally laughed so hard.
Yeah.
And they're underwater.
That you fell off your
watching him on that pier, wrangling in his SMB, current ripping. We're exactly the only place they said not to go is exactly where we were.
But
unbelievable.
We just ended there for no reason.
Unbelievable. Thank you, David, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Really.
Let's see. Hey, Woody, what's your best octopus fact? An actual fact,
that
not
they have
made
9 brains. I like the fact that
that's
they
cool.
have 9 brains. I think that's amazing.
Yep. What have you regretted eating before a long CCR dive? Nothing. Have you done any caves in New Zealand? No, but people say there's a ton of caves there. That would be cool to check out. Paradox Prophet, thank you for the super chat as well. Or the thank you, I guess. Would you guys ever consider diving an iceberg like Jill Heinerth? Yes, absolutely. Has Woody ever seen a UFO entering the water? No.
Not entering it, but obviously.
Not entering it.
They're there. I mean, that's obvious. They've been there. They are there.
Would you guys ever go dry caving like in land? No. No. That's sounds like too much work, and it's too dangerous.
Will we ever do what?
Dry caving.
Of course.
It's too dangerous.
I've done it a bunch.
I'd rather go cave diving.
Yes,
it's way safer.
Yes, we have a dry cave trip coming up with David Vigiano.
Will you be having any more Dive Talk meetups? Yes, we will. We're gonna go bigger.
Fish do talk back to me. What do you mean? Am I prepared for the fish to talk back to me someday? Someday they talk back to me every time I'm diving with them. Mm-hmm. I talk with fish, not one way. We talk to each other every time I go in the ocean. So the answer is all the time.
Yep. If you could go, this is a good question, actually. I'm going to respond this one seriously. If you could go back in time to change something in your training to become cave divers, would you? And if so, what would you change? Absolutely. I think I would have invested a lot more time or get more serious about working on trim and buoyancy. It's something that you kind of ignore because you're diving in the ocean. And for me, it was like, oh, I'm looking at this diver's like, you know, being in perfect trim or whatever. Like, who cares? We're in the ocean. And then when I became a cave diver, I had to unlearn all of those bad habits. And it was really, really tough. So if I could go back and change something, I would have worked way more in trim and buoyancy and build that, you know, foundation.
That's a good answer. Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
That's really
super
generous
chat.
of
Wow.
you. I mean,
absolutely.
She's such a fan or
big supporter of the channel.
Supporter, I would say, call her. Thank you.
All right. Let's see.
Why are bubbles dangerous in your blood when you go up fast? Because they expand out of your blood, and now you got, just imagine big bubbles flowing through your veins that can cause blockage. Really dangerous. Can kill you.
By the way, speaking of a meetup, I forgot to add this. The number one recommendation for the 100,000 celebration was to go to the Bonterra mine in Missouri, I think it is, and dive there. And what we're going to do is we're going to be announcing the dates that we're going to be there so you guys can come and join us. If you're divers, you can dive with us. If you're not, you can always meet us, and we can, I don't know if there's food around, but we can always grab something to eat. But we'll do like an impromptu meetup. So we're not staying overnight and doing it like we did the one in Florida. But at least you can get to meet us, and there's no cost for it. We don't charge people to meet us. So we're looking forward to that. So it's going to be in August. So we'll be announcing that soon.
I like that you said we'll make sure there's food around.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
obviously. Or we're going to designate somebody to grill something, I feel like.
Like tons of hot dogs and hamburgers.
Oh, my God.
With a massive amount of mayonnaise and ketchup on everything.
Well,
and Doritos, or I would love to have a massive amount of kettle barbecue chips there as well.
All right.
How good is a kettle barbecue chip? I wish I had them right now.
Dude, you're making me hungry. Stop.
Just picturing the crunch in my
and
mouth
beer.
Right now.
Yes, that's what.
Beer.
You know what I'm saying? We have the best. We have the best subscribers. Honestly, the best ones.
I think so. Yeah.
They're gonna bring all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be like a huge party. They're gonna throw us out of Missouri, which will be awesome.
Some Hebrew National hot dogs right now would be.
Will you dive with OC Tech divers? Yeah. So at the mine, I think you only have to be an open water diver. Like anyone can dive. There's nothing super technical, which is cool.
Somebody said brisket. I love a good slow cooked tender beef brisket. I'm sorry. Were we talking about diving or food?
Oh my God.
It's the food talk channel.
Yeah, the food talk channel. 1,000 questions about do we play video games? We already answered no.
I used to play some pretty good ones. Asteroid.
I do Wordle every day.
Pac-Man.
You should.
Remember that? I mean, that have they
Yes.
progressed past those?
No, I think we're still in Pac-Man is still the latest.
That thing was awesome. And other than that, I don't even know what games they're playing now.
Let's see.
Would like to cave dive with Donald Cerrone. We've mentioned it 100 times. If he would go with us, that would be really nice.
Yeah. Have you done any GUE course? We have not. We have not.
I know of a bunch of GUE instructors. Big fans of them.
And divers like Brian. GUE guys. Let's see. Tips for better equalization. I have issues starting around 50 feet.
What's that mean? Can you guys please stop spamming? It ruins the experience.
Oh, because people are posting the same comments over and over and over and over again.
Oh, really?
Like Juan, for example, he's posting the same question over and over and over. So please stop before you get kicked out.
I see what you're saying. No, we're not single. We're married.
Yep.
Sorry. Sometimes it's hard to read them all because they scroll so fast. And if you post a bunch, then what happens is, honestly, it moves so quickly we can't see them. Thank you, Cameron. Is Woody doing the rescue course again? Thanks for answering. We are going to do a rescue class together, a stress and rescue class. Gus and I, we're going to co-teach it. Oh, man, do I have an incredible week planned, a stress and rescue week with some superstar guests that will be there for the class. I'm almost going to be like a rescue week convention. I don't have a date. I keep thinking maybe in the October range, but stay tuned.
Yep. All right, guys, 3 more minutes and then we're out. So final questions. Gus, you recommend some hose retainers for side mount tanks a while back. Can you remind me which ones those were? Yes, absolutely. I have a sticker here actually for them. It's called Deluxe Dive Gear. All right, so let me show that. I don't know if you can see it. All right, so check those guys out. They sell the hose retainers for tanks. Super high quality. Tankstraps.de is the website.
Hey, Joe, that's a good question. What would happen if you're on trimix and stayed shallow? As long as you're not too shallow, and it depends on the mix. Because you can stay shallow, but you have to have enough oxygen percent not to go hypoxic. That's part of the trimix class. When would you need to switch to a shallow gas? Or can you, in fact, create a trimix gas that you can take all the way to the surface? And depends on the mix.
Absolutely. Paradox Profit, thank you for your super chat. New to diving, beginner scuba on cruise last November. Jealous. I want to go on a cruise.
I want to be a dive instructor on a cruise.
Open water starts next weekend privately. Plan to eventually be a full cave certified instructor. Is full cave instructor. What are good things to do while learning? Forgot the message. What are good things when to learning how to dive? Is just breathing.
Breathing is everything.
Breathing.
Control your buoyancy with your breathing. By the way, Royal Caribbean, that new giant, biggest cruise in the world. If you need me to teach for a week on your ship,
call us.
Like all your passengers, they want to have an epic dive course and dive lectures in the evening.
Yep.
After I hit the buffets, I'm your guy.
Man, we keep getting spams.
We do?
Well, yeah, there's the same message over and over and over again.
Oh, how long have you been diving? I've said that a few times. 46 years for me. Also, when did you want to dive?
What?
When I was a kid. For me, I remember I grew up watching Jacques Cousteau, and
good old Jacques.
I just was like, I want to be like Jacques Cousteau.
Let's see. How do you guys meet? Woody was my rescue instructor back in 2019, I think.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
So when is Gus diving with gators? Never.
But stay tuned for something related to gators.
Dive Talk cruise. That would be cool. If we did a cruise for just Dive Talk people.
That would be a blast.
That would be amazing. All right.
Susan, if you're listening,
make it happen.
Our operations manager, Dive Talk Cruise. But that's what a liveaboard is.
Right.
Liveaboard dive boats are for that. We may do that at some point.
You guys ever been to the UK? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have plans to dive in Europe? Not right now, but I would love to. What's the most disgusting thing you've dived in? That's a good question.
I've dove in
Hudson Grotto,
the bottom part of Hudson Grotto. You go through a sulfuric acid layer.
Yeah.
Literally acid.
It's the
I mean,
worst.
you're like, it's sulfur, smells like terrible. And you need to get through that layer, which is at like, I can't remember, it's like 100 feet or something fast.
Yeah.
It's kind of nasty. Wow. Thank you, Dylan. Puppy Toy Money. Thank you. Sign up for the rescue. Do we need anything before enrolling in the class? For SSI, you don't. You will become a CPRO2 provider during the class. That's all part of it. That part of it, it's actually a DAN class, and we teach it all together, and we will announce when we are putting all that together. It's literally world class. I can't wait to put that together. You guys are going to see a lot of that footage in the future. But I think we may have to wrap it up here, everybody.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and for the great questions. We try to answer as many as possible, but there's a ton coming up, and every one of your donations, Alex, again, thank you for your $20 super chat. Every one of your donations really goes to helping us go out and make more content. I have a list. Like, I wish I was looking at it earlier. I have a list of so many videos that I want to make with Woody and others that is original content, and a lot of this content costs a lot of money. Like, I don't know how much money we spent to go to like the Bahamas, for example, to dive in the crystal caves. It was thousands and thousands of dollars. I have no idea. And I was looking at the videos, how much money they made from like ads, for example, and I think together we're up to $400. So
nice.
We've recovered.
Yeah, so, we do this for the love.
Absolutely. This is not a gold mine, but we appreciate the super chats, guys, because we do want to go out and make amazing content for you, and we have a list of ideas.
And we want to make amazing comments.
Yeah, and we want to make amazing comments.
So thank you, everybody. It's really nice seeing everybody. This was a lot of viewers on this super chat. I think at one point it's like 450 or something at one time, so that's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Exciting.
Thank you.
If you feel like you've become unsubscribed somehow, resubscribe.
Please.
Because you said some people mentioned that
they
thought they were subscribed and now they're not.
For sure. So thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to tune into tomorrow's video.
Oh, yeah.
It's an original video, and
it's a part 1 of what will be at least 2 parts.
And just watch and tell us what you think. Please leave comments on the video. We want to know what you think. It's not our normal type of content. It's new. We're trying something new. And some people on the chat have watched it and they said they loved it. So hopefully everyone likes it.
I hope so.
Because it's new. But anyway.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. We'll